Hi, this is Adrian.
And I'm Carrie.
And for this episode of the Scent Library, we are going to talk about Tuxedo by YSL and its clones.
Yep. Okay, so Tuxedo is a high-end fragrance from the YSL line. It comes from one of their luxury lines, Les Vestiaires de Parfums, which this particular line of 5 scents came out in 2015. This one ended up being the most popular of those. It is considered a male fragrance, masculine fragrance, but I think that it's unisex enough that it can be worn by either or. So this one of the things it's known for is it's sort of fruity, peppery sort of opening, and then it's rich, earthy heart notes and stuff that last for a good long time. The top notes are violet leaf, coriander, bergamot, and middle notes are rose, black pepper, and lily of the valley. Base notes are patchouli, ambergris, and bourbon vanilla. Yeah, and right off the top, I really get the violet leaf and the bergamot.
Yes.
And it is nice how in the dry down, which really, after about 30 minutes, you're into the heart notes and stuff. So those fresh notes off the top are mostly for you, when you put it on. The other people, when you're out in the dry down, are really going to get like the light rose, and it's not like a heavy tuberose or something like that. It's nice rose. The peppery sort of a smell, and then patchouli, ambergris, and the vanilla. And it lasts a long time, leaves a nice scent trail. And when I say lasts a long time, it lasts a long time, like over 8 to 12 hours. Great performance, good projection. People love this. Okay, so moving on. Now, because that one was really popular, obviously there's going to be some fragrances that kind of continue or try to do something similar to it. Moustache Eau de Parfum was for a while the go-to fragrance for people that wanted something in that same character. I wouldn't exactly call this a clone. It may be that they're being a little deceptive in the notes or something if it truly was meant to be a clone. It certainly comes off in a similar character, much like how Absolute Aventus comes off being in like a similar category or similar smell as Elixir by Dior. But I don't think of this one really as a clone. There's only 3 notes that are in common with Tuxedo: rose, vanilla, and patchouli. So the rest of the notes, top notes are pink pepper and mandarin orange. Middle notes are Atlas cedar and then the Bulgarian rose. And then base notes of benzoin, vanilla, and patchouli. So it certainly comes off with a similar character, but I think that it's noticeably different. So whether they were really trying to clone Tuxedo or not, it's hard to say.
I don't think so.
But yeah, I think it came off in a similar character. One thing to be sure about though with this one, if you want to get this one because it sort of falls in that similar character, or you've heard people say that it's really good, or you've tried theirs, make sure you get the EDP, the Eau de Parfum, because there's an Eau de Toilette version of this that is a much older fragrance, and it is a very different scent profile. It's a more of a barbershop from the 50s type of a scent. Nothing the same.
Okay.
So don't get the Eau de Toilette thinking that you're getting the one that's in a similar vein to Tuxedo. Moving on, these next 2 are straight up clones, and they're pretty much dead ringers for Tuxedo, and that's what they're meant to be. Tudor is by Pandora Scents, which is part of the Paris Corner line. And like I said, 1-to-1 note matchup, violet leaf, coriander, and bergamot, rose, black pepper, lily of the valley, ambergris, patchouli, and bourbon vanilla. I notice a little difference, in the way it comes off right at first.
Yeah.
The
Tuxedo is smoother.
Yeah. Also, I get the like the pepper and the bergamot. At first, it's more effervescent, whereas this, it's there, but it's a little more flat.
Oh, okay.
I would not characterize that as bad. It just isn't quite as lively as Tuxedo, but those top notes sort of go away within about the first 30 minutes anyway, and the mid notes, the heart notes and bass notes are really what you get for the long term. And I haven't given this one as much of a test out as Tuxedo as far as wearing it in public and seeing, other people's reactions to it and stuff. But, just wearing it here at home and stuff, I found that it has pretty good projection. It has good performance. It lasts a good 6 or more hours. And it smells on the dry down, it really smells about the same. What were your experiences with it?
It lasts long, and like I said earlier, I find it more sharper than than Tuxedo. Yeah.
Okay. So do you think it's a pretty good clone of
Yes,
Tuxedo?
definitely a very good clone of Tuxedo.
Okay. And it's worth mentioning that the price point for this is about $30. So that's about 1/10 of what Tuxedo costs.
Wow.
Yeah. So any criticisms that we make of it, you have to take that with a grain of salt, knowing that those are just slight differences, and this is a majorly less expensive fragrance than Tuxedo. And it comes like 90% or more, on target of smelling the same and performing pretty well too.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and you can always spray on a little bit more because it's pretty affordable.
Yes.
Now, this one, the Tux, is an even more straight up knockoff of Tuxedo. The bottle looks so similar, the lid's so similar. It's by Maison Alhambra, and they have definitely come out with some really good clones in the last 4 or 5 years. They've been around for a lot longer than that, but in the last several years, they have had some really, really good clones.
I still think like YSL Tuxedo is smoother.
Yeah. Yeah, the top notes on this one, I think, come out a lot closer to Tuxedo. And I think that the dry down is virtually exactly the same. The performance on this one may be a little bit less than Tuxedo, but once again, at the price point of somewhere around $30 to $50 on this one, you just can't go wrong. See, once again, the notes on this one are 1-to-1 matchup. Violet leaf, bergamot, coriander, rose, lily of the valley, black pepper, ambergris, patchouli, and bourbon vanilla. So the notes that they claim are all the same. The initial top notes and stuff come off to me almost exactly the same, and it wears really nice. And this one's a little harder to get a hold of right now just because so many people are after it. But in general, you should be able to find this one for around $40 to $50. And between this one or Tudor, you can't go wrong with either of these as an entry to see if you like that kind of a fragrance. And if you do, and then you want to pop for the Tuxedo later, you won't be doing a kind of a blind buy and regretting it. That's the real nice thing about these. You could just use these and save yourself the money on Tuxedo. Tuxedo, I think, is a better overall fragrance, smoother, probably wears better and stuff. But it's arguable as to whether or not, most people would find the same value for the price and stuff between one of these and Tuxedo, with Tuxedo being so expensive and the difference between them being a little bit of performance and you can just spray more on. There is one other fragrance that is a clone that I don't have right now, but it's worth keeping in mind and looking at some other reviews of if you find them out there, is Suits. Same price point, somewhere around $30 to $50. Same note matchup. I can't vouch for the performance on it, but a lot of people say it's a dead ringer for Tuxedo too. So you can think about that one also as a clone.
Okay.
All right.
Till next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks.